Hey everybody, Coach Toolshed here, and today we're going to be discussing Fallout 76 and Bethesda once again. Now, I know a lot of people here are new to the channel. We got a lot of subscribers just in the last week, so let me bring you up to date. I had been following Fallout 76 since June, covering this game in a pretty negative light because I have been down on this game since we saw the reveal at E3. So I've been covering this game all along, but what I've been doing really since the game came out is I've been asking the question for the past several weeks: can Bethesda go this next week without a public relations debacle? And so I have asked this question, and over the last few weeks, we've got the situation last week with the Atom Store situation and the Dark Room. And then the week before that, we had the issue with the Bethesda security leak. And then the week before that, we had the canvas bag fiasco, and on and on and on. And so for the past several weeks, on the weekend, usually on Sunday night, I've been putting up a video talking about Bethesda and how can they go one more week without maybe having a public relations disaster. And unfortunately for them, once again, we're going to be closing out the year with another situation where no, they have once again just made fools out of themselves. Another unforced error that we have to talk about. And so tonight, after tonight, we're going to reset the clock once again and see if in the new year, the first week of January, can Bethesda go for one single 7-day stretch? That's all I'm asking for. 7 straight days without some sort of public relation problem popping up. Because they had another issue this week, and that is that they had a group of players who were banned from Fallout 76 because Bethesda determined that they had detected some sort of third-party cheating software on their PCs. Now, several people brought this to their attention, saying, hey, I have this stuff running on my PC, but I'm not using it to try to modify or change anything with Fallout 76, so why did I get banned? I'm not using it for your game. You're just scanning my computer, and I'm not sure why you are banning me for this. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm certainly not cheating. I don't know what's going on. And Bethesda got back to them and said that if they wanted to appeal this process, they would have to write an essay to Bethesda for Bethesda management to look over, saying, why is the use of third-party cheat software detrimental to an online game community? And people, now there was some speculation on whether or not this was real, but Bethesda has this week said one of their community managers came out and said, yes, this was a legitimate thing that they put out. They were legitimately requesting that people write an essay like they're in junior high school, and the teacher is mad at them. Like, I want a 1,000-word essay tomorrow on why I will not chew gum in class. That's what this sort of thing is. Now, let me be clear. I am in no way advocating for people to do some sort of cheating or hacking in an online game. I think that is terrible. That's just not anything that I would do. I don't like to associate with that. I don't like to get even gifted anything. Like people like, hey, I can give you some infinite amount of ammo or whatever. I'm not into that. I don't want duped items. I don't want glitched items. I don't want bugged items. It's one of the reasons why I don't really play any games like this on PC, because that sort of thing is far more prevalent. If I play on my PC, I tend to stick to single-player games exclusively, and I only really play multiplayer games on consoles, even though some consoles you can still have those bugs and glitches and exploits where that sort of thing goes on. But I am not one to do stuff like that. I don't enjoy that. I would rather just play the game as is, even if the game's economy and systems is something that is really slow and grindy. I would rather grind through the game or just not play it rather than cheat and hack my way to success. So that's one of the reasons why I am certainly not advocating if someone is legitimately cheating in the game, yes, then we can start talking about banning. But these people were saying that they weren't doing anything of the sort, and Bethesda didn't provide them with any evidence that they were doing so. They just told them that they wanted them to write this essay as an appeal, and these people were really upset about this. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind is we are now 6-7 weeks into the launch of this game, and a lot of the community, even with many online games, after the first month, you see a massive drop-off. We hear a lot of times with these online games that about 80% of the community sometimes will just be completely wiped out from when the game launched, because that's just the natural course of things. It's one of the big problems with games as a service is the community disappears rapidly a lot of the time. It's very often that this happens with an online service-based game. So you have to imagine, now we don't have concurrent numbers for Fallout 76 because, of course, Bethesda has this game launched on their own launcher and it's locked behind that. So we don't have that sort of recurring numbers that we can look at that Steam can sort of provide. So I think that might be one of the other reasons why Bethesda wanted to hide this game away. But so we don't have access to see what concurrent numbers are, but I have to think now 6-7 weeks after launch, with a game that reviewed this poorly, that has such terrible user reviews and all the problems with bugs, and of course this has been beating a dead horse, but you have to think that the player community for this game has to be below that 80% threshold, which is not uncommon at all. And I would suggest probably with this game it might even be lower. You might be looking at under, say, maybe 15 to 20% of people left in this game. I would have to say that that would be the case. Now, that's just pure speculation. But the thing is, what I'm getting at is the people that got punished are some of the diehards that are still sticking with this game. So Bethesda is just further hurting their people that are still somehow loyal to this game and this company. Now, I know there are some fans of this game, but there are not that many of them. And so if you're going to be banning people, Bethesda, you better be making sure that they're actually doing something illegal in your, not illegal, but something that would not be approved of on your servers. You should damn well better be sure that that's what's happening. And these people are claiming that it's not going on. And for you to suggest that they need to write you an essay, well, actually, one person did write them an essay, and they said, hey, thanks so much for writing an essay, and they lifted the ban on the guy. So this was an actual thing, and like I said, Bethesda did come out and confirm that this was legitimate, and they were actually asking people to write essays. Now, the community manager also said that they have now decided, they had some conversations about that in this past week, and they decided to waive that. They're not going to be asking for essays anymore. But the fact that this wasn't just some Reddit rumor or some YouTube speculation, the fact that Bethesda has admitted that they actually were expecting people to write essays, whether this was meant as a joke from one community manager or not, we don't know, but they have admitted this was legitimate. That is just mind-blowing. And to me, it really speaks to the problem that we've had with Bethesda this whole time post-launch, is that they seem to really have no concept of the reception that this game has. And they have to know, don't they? But it seems like they don't. Because if you still have this is not the first time we've gotten one of these snarky, cynical answers and responses to fans from these community managers. And honestly, a lot of this stuff sounds like it's coming out of Pete Hines' mouth. Because Pete Hines is that sort of guy on Twitter in the past. And of course, Pete, we're still looking for you. We're nearly 7 weeks since this game launched, and you are still hiding away. Nothing on Twitter. No comments in the press. You are still... How exactly... I've asked this question before. The global vice president of marketing and PR is still completely silent during one of the biggest public relation debacles we have ever seen in gaming. I don't think that's hyperbolic to say. This game has been a public relations nightmare for Bethesda. Stuff that people are speculating, myself included, this stink of this game and the way they've handled it and all of the content and all of the collectible stuff and all the data leak and everything, this stink is going to stay with Bethesda for a while. And for Pete Hines to just be completely MIA is mind-blowing. And so when I see these posts from these community managers, it sounds to me the same sort of snarky, cynical attitude, that screw the fans type of attitude that Pete Hines has. You actually had community managers suggesting that people need to write an essay for Bethesda management to review? That is just galling. After the launch of this game? After the data leaks? After all of the alleged illegal behavior, whether it be the violation of the GDPR and all that. I've discussed this on the channel before. Now, whether or not any of that stuff is the false advertisement with the canvas bags, people have questioned whether or not that stuff is actually illegal, but there's been enough evidence. I mean, this is sort of like a where there's smoke there's fire sort of situation. I mean, we've seen a lot of smoke, so there has to be some kind of fire going on. But regardless of whether that is, the appearance of problems has been a problem for Bethesda this entire time. This has been going on for months. Before the beta with the stress test, like there's just been constant problems with the public relations. And now Pete Hines has just been MIA, and now they're throwing this thing out where they want people to write an essay, and that is galling to me that they would have the audacity to do that. Honestly, how dare you treat the few people that are still playing this game. Now, like I said, if they're legitimately cheating, that's one thing. But these people are saying that they did nothing wrong. They could be wrong about that. I don't know. But there's a lot of people saying that, hey, I got banned. I wasn't doing anything to these files. And even so, set up a normal appeal process, Bethesda. If something's actually going on and people want to appeal it, have them appeal it like a normal game developer would have them do it, which is what they've decided to do. Thank you, Bethesda. Once again, you've changed your mind, you've changed your policy. But how many times have you guys changed your policy? You keep making one statement and then going back. So now they've said, okay, well, moving forward, we don't need an appeal. But they are telling people, even if they are lifting their ban, they're warning them, hey, They told this guy who they lifted the ban, they said, hey, this is not a clean slate, and one more infraction and you're gone, and there will be no right to appeal, that sort of thing. Which, like I said, if people are actually cheating, I don't have a problem with kicking people off your servers if they're actually screwing with your multiplayer game. That is a completely different subject. My problem is that you would have the audacity to write an essay of people on telling them why it's like you're going to be the moral authority here. Bethesda, how about you write an actual apology? How about Pete Hines writes an essay on where he's been? Because apparently he's been on vacation for the past 2 months. So Pete, why don't you write an essay on where you've been, on why you think it's okay for your community managers to continue to have this snarky, smarmy attitude with people that paid for this broken game, the worst reviewed game of the generation, and why you think it's appropriate to treat the few people still playing this game with such sort of hostility and just looking down. To suggest that they write an essay, that is just you spitting in people's face. Have them go through a normal appeal process like a normal business and a normal online game would do. This is just horrendous. Todd Howard, why don't you write us an essay on why you decided it would be a good idea to take the Fallout name and strip all of the RPG elements out of it and just make a basic looter shooter with no soul, no sense of purpose, and no performance of any kind to speak of, that where this game still is running terribly. Todd, why don't you write that? Why don't you write us an essay on how you felt when you were up on stage at E3 lying through your teeth about this game? How about that? And ML Pagliarillo, the lead writer, why don't you write me a... No, on second thought, I don't need to see any more of your writing. Please don't write an essay, ML, because you're the worst writer I've seen in video games in a very long time. So I don't need to see any more of your writing. Fallout 76 speaks for itself. So you, buddy, you're off the hook, ML. Way to go. I'll be hitting you up pretty soon with a video, I'm sure. I feel like I need to do a full video exposing your nonsense as well, because you fly under the radar, don't you, Mr. Pagliarillo? Yes, you do. But anyway, so this is just... I know I've been rambling here for about 13, 14 minutes about this one topic, but this is just mind-blowing. The level of hubris that Bethesda still seems to have, where they're taking this arrogant attitude when they should be doing everything they can to make the people still playing this game happy. They should be working their ass off to get that mod support that people were talking about. All of this stuff should be going on right now. The fact that we're still 6-7 weeks into this game and the game is still running horrendously. There's still major bugs going on. The sessions are still not stable. I'm still getting disconnects. All of that. It's totally unacceptable. And anyone denying that at the very least this is one of the worst public relations launches that any game has ever suffered. I mean, even if you love this game, you can't deny that the public relations aspect of this thing has been a complete horror show for Bethesda. There's no denying that. The public relations is a mess. Whoever you want to blame it on. You can blame it on me and other YouTubers. You can blame it on the reviewers. Whoever you want to blame it on. You can't deny that this has been a public relations nightmare. And for them to have this attitude, to me it just says they haven't learned a thing at all. And it's just going to be business as usual. And I bet you we'll see Todd coming out with a new leather jacket in a cloud of smoke at E3 2021 to present Starfield like nothing ever happened. And he'll make a little joke. So, I heard you guys didn't like Fallout 76 much. And he'll make that stupid smirk. And they'll have the plants in the front row screaming like they had him last time for Fallout 76. Pretending to be enthusiastic. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Because once again, we're going to reset the clock. We're going to give Bethesda another 7 days. And we're going to come back in January and see if they've gone for 1 week without making themselves look like idiots with another public relations problem. So that's it for me, Coach Toolshed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about this Bethesda problem with Fallout 76, but like I said, I'm going to keep covering it as long as they keep screwing stuff up. And they keep screwing stuff up. I'm giving them 1 week in between videos, and they haven't been able to handle it yet. We're now at a month. It's been at least a month since I've been doing these videos. So we'll see. It's really up to them. I'm going to keep making them as long as they keep screwing up. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Please subscribe if you want to stay in tune with the channel headed forward. And as always, keep it turned to 11.